The Emilia Romagna Grand Prix will not take place.
The news came as a mix of shock and disappointment for F1 fans around the world. The Grand Prix of Imola could not be held due to excessive rain and flooding in northern Italy. While many people are disappointed that the race weekend will not take place, it is a particularly stressful moment for the residents of the region. The Italians experienced the area being flooded for the second time in a short period of time. In this video, we will touch on the consequences of the catastrophic events unfolding in northern Italy and what this means for Formula 1 and its future races. The devastating floods in Emilia Romagna took 13 lives, displaced over 10,000 people and caused billions of euros in damage. Because of this heartbreaking situation, Formula 1 decided to cancel the Imola Grand Prix on Wednesday. The weekend at the famed Ferrari circuit had been keenly anticipated by enthusiasts and insiders as it marked the start of the European leg of the season and also delivered a large wave of changes to the single-seaters. Mercedes, for example, was one of these teams, with a massive overhaul in the form of a new floor, front suspension setup and side pod arrangement planned for their W14. Aside from the team's ambitions for car modifications, Imola was also chosen as the location for testing a new qualifying system. In this scenario, drivers would have had to employ the hard compound in Q1, the medium compound in Q2, and the soft compound in Q3. The goal of the adjustment was to reduce the number of tyre sets used per driver from 13 to 11, hence boosting environmental sustainability. Furthermore, an extreme wet tyre had been developed specifically for the Emilia Romagna GP, eliminating the requirement for preheating. However, given the gravity of the situation in Italy, the spotlight has appropriately switched away from sporting events. As a result, the new qualifying format will not be used this weekend as anticipated. It is such a tragedy to see what has happened to Imola and Emilia Romagna, the town and region that I grew up in, said Stefano Domenicali, president and CEO of Formula 1. My thoughts and prayers are with the victims of the flooding as well as the families and communities affected. He continues, the decision that has been taken is the right one for everyone in the local communities and the F1 family, as we need to ensure safety and not create extra burden for the authorities while they deal with this very awful situation. The decision to cancel this weekend's Emilia Romagna Grand Prix has also been backed by Formula 1 drivers and teams. They supported Formula 1, the local authorities, and the promoter in Imola, after they decided on Wednesday that it was not safe to race due to the concerns of flooding caused by the region's harsh weather. Many of the drivers who spoke out in favour agreed that F1 did not want to add to the load on the community and emergency services. Lewis Hamilton believes F1 had set the proper priorities, hoping everyone in Emilia Romagna is able to stay safe and look out for each other right now, the 7-time world champion said. Thoughts are with those affected by this tragedy and the amazing emergency services working on the ground. I know we all understand that safety comes first. Can't wait to see you all at the next race. Max Verstappen, the world champion, backed him up. Our thoughts are with all those affected by the severe rainfall and flooding in the greater Emilia-Romagna region. We wish you all strength to ensure your safety throughout this period, said the Red Bull driver. Ferrari's headquarters in Maranello is only 50 miles from the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo Edino Ferrari, which is considered a home race for the team, and Ferrari's principal, Fred Vasseur, has also expressed his solidarity with the people affected by the disaster. On behalf of everyone working at Scuderia Ferrari, I would like to express our deepest sympathy to everyone affected by this terrible tragedy, he said. Emilia-Romagna is our homeland, and it's heartbreaking to see what people are going through at this moment. His sentiments were reiterated across the grid by teams unanimously backing the decision. The decision, according to British driver George Russell, was correct. Sorry for the fans that this weekend's race has been cancelled, but the safety of everyone involved always has to come first, he said. Wishing all the best to everyone in the Emilia-Romagna region and surrounding areas that have been affected by these floods. So what's next for Formula 1? Slotting the Grand Prix later in the year would avoid the financial loss and other unanticipated consequences of no F1 in 2023 for Imola, but looking at the schedule it appears practically impossible. The next 2 weekends are already booked, with the second and third legs of what should have been the season's first triple header taking place in Monaco and Barcelona. There's a free weekend after Barcelona before Canada, but adding it would make a quadruple header with a North American trip at the end. In other words, a non-starter, especially given the logistical challenges of such a short time frame. On the other side of the Montreal flyaway, Imola hosts the Porsche Sports Cup Suisse, which has no reason to change its preparations for the sake of F1, leaving the gap between the Silverstone and Hungaroring races as the only possibility before the summer break. However, those races were already part of double headers, and combining them with the Emilio Romagna GP would result in an entirely unsustainable quintuple header for drivers, personnel, the media, and dare I say, even the fans watching on television, who are already suffering from F1 fatigue in what is not the sport's most gripping season. A similar problem arises after the summer break, but this time between the Dutch and Italian competitions and the travel to Japan and Singapore. The 1 week break between Japan and Qatar on October 1st is a long shot, with the motorhomes and road-going equipment already in Italy after the Monza event on September 3rd. However, keeping vehicles in the country for such an extended amount of time is not ideal for the majority of non-Italian teams. Jumping between 3 countries in a 4-week blitz does not appear appealing for the physical or mental well-being of the racing personnel. Rain is expected in the Emilia-Romagna region as a result of the October weather change, and temperatures will be colder than they were in May. All of this highlights how congested F1's 2023 calendar is, even without the already cancelled Chinese Grand Prix. Given how rare this situation is, the sport is not necessarily wrong in not having a contingency plan for a weekend cancellation. Nonetheless, the high chance that Imola will not host F1 this year because of the unrelenting schedule shows how much the sport is bursting at the seams and is a self-inflicted crisis. That brings us to the end of today's video. If you liked the video, please leave a like and a comment below. Also, if you're new to this channel, subscribe and click the notification bell to get notified when we upload more content.